Are you ready to take your sales beyond Etsy but have this fear that you're going to spend hours and hours building something that's going to generate you traffic or catch traffic and it won't work? That's what we're going to be talking about today. Hi, my name is Jared Robinson. I'm the host of Grow My Etsy Shop podcast, and I'm going to be breaking down with you the secret of creating a website that actually converts. Etsy has a science, the way that they run their traffic through. They essentially market themselves as this marketplace and then allow the users to search keywords for what they want, and then they provide them a ton of different options that they can choose from, and you just sit there with your fingers crossed hoping that they choose you based off of visuals, meaning like pictures and pricings and reviews. What we can do on a website is a little bit different. On a website, we can use compelling copy mixed with your visuals and tell a story that converts the buyer before we reveal the price. This allows the buyer to see and sink in and imagine the product in their life, and therefore coming at your product with a little bit of a different mindset as opposed to like, well, how much is it and can I just get the next listing over that's $5 cheaper? They instead say, oh my gosh, I have visualized this product in my life and now I want it. So I'm going to teach you the 6 steps that you need on your landing page to be able to convert, and that's going to actually convert better than your Etsy page. But before I do, I actually have a mini course that I sell that I walk through and build an Etsy shop to a website, and you can see all the steps that I do and how I do it and the mindset that's behind it and where you should be putting your focus. And I have this on my website. I'll put a link in the description. You can check that out, or you can just watch this video and you can do it yourself. Either way, hope you find value. Okay, so step 1 in selling on Etsy is you have to know what your benefit is, meaning what does the user's life look like when they get your product. The reason that you want to know this is that this is what you're going to start with. Visually, you need to show them what their life will look like once they have the product. So we can start using right from the start the psychology of having them picture what this product is in their life and how their life is going to change by having this product. I'm going to tell you this right now, your website should be about 60% visual, 40% compelling copy. So visually, I like a good slider or slideshow or just a good head banner that really shows what their life is going to look like with your product. So if you make a quilt, you're going to show someone wrapped in this quilt. If you make jewelry, you're going to show people wearing this jewelry in social scenarios and maybe their friend looking at it so that they can see it. If we just show the product at this point, we're missing really valuable real estate, because that section right there is where we want to start setting the stage, instead of just being like, hey, here's my product, do you want to buy it? So a way for you to get to your benefit is that you just need to be like, how will their life change with my product? What about my product will make their life better? And when they're at the height of enjoyment of my product, what are they doing with it? And once you know those things, that's what you can start to create your slideshow about. So let's take the example of alpaca wool socks. So we know that alpaca wool socks are really warm. They soak up moisture. They tend to, like, your feet don't get too hot, but they stay warm is like kind of the benefit of alpaca wool. And so if we just put alpaca wool socks and had a picture of our socks on the website, that wouldn't be very effective. We're just telling them what we're selling. But what if we had a woman who was wearing our socks, who was sitting by a fire, and she had her coffee with her, and she was reading a book, and we had the headline that said, right on that picture, something along the lines of like, your toasty toes will love you. See what we're doing here? We're telling them like, this is what your life is going to look like with our product. They're going to be able to picture their lives with this product, and it's going to make a big difference to how they show up and when they continue to scroll, where their mindset is. A good way to kind of do this exercise within your own shop is just to think about like, why is someone buying my product and not another product, right? So in this scenario, if we're like, why are they buying my alpaca, or why are they searching for my alpaca socks as opposed to Kmart socks? Well, maybe they have sweaty feet, or maybe they want something that's warmer. Maybe, they just want better material that their feet get irritated by the other socks, or they find them trendy and want to buy them this way. So when we start to dissect the reasons, that's what we're going to start placing on our website. We want to talk to people whose feet may be more sweaty and tell them that they won't be with our socks, or that people who want to be trendy, we can show visuals of like, this is a trendy product, or people who want warmer toes. We've already established that their toes are going to love them because of these socks. So this type of exercise helps get you into that mindset. And as we scroll down, you're going to see we start to build our story around this. So go ahead, just visually picture that up on your website. Now let's scroll down to the next section. This is what's going to happen next. You're going to write a compelling tagline. And this tagline is going to be the bridge between what their life is going to look like with the ultimate benefit, and then you're going to bridge it to my product is what gives you this life. So they've already been fed this woman who's got the warm toes, who's reading the book and drinking the coffee, and now we need to say it's our product that's going to give you that. So a tagline for this alpaca socks could be something like alpaca, wool socks dash a warm hug for your feet, for example. And so what we're doing is we're compressing that. Hey, this is what your life could look like, your toasty toes. And we're saying it's the alpaca wool socks compressed with a warm hug for your feet. That now we have our user or our potential buyer at this point in the mindset of like, man, I really like this. I really want that. And then as they scroll through our website with the idea of I really want that, that's when we can feed them the next couple steps that's going to help them become buyers for us. So this is where a lot of Etsy shops make mistakes when they're building their website, is they immediately start to talk about their products because they're used to Etsy. And Etsy's like, we just try to get to our product as quick as we can and convince them to buy from us. We don't need to do that on our website. We can take a little bit more time, especially when they're in the storytelling mode, which is what they currently are in. So what we're going to do is we're going to lay out the features of our products. So let me give you 3 examples. So I want you to picture kind of having a picture on one side and then a text on the other side. And then as you scroll down, the picture will be over here and the text will be over here. And then as you scroll down, we're just walking them through this story. So let's go feature number 1. Let's focus on the warmth of our socks first. So at this stage, we might want to bring up the fact that it's true alpaca wool. Maybe people, just based on the injuries today, there's a lot of fake stuff out there. We could just say, hey, here's a picture of us making the product, or here's a picture of us sourcing the product, and then our headline and our title is going to focus on this is true alpaca wool, and this stuff is guaranteed to make your feet and work better than normal socks and keep you warm and all this kind of stuff. So what we're not doing is saying, here's a picture of me doing this, and this is how long we've been doing this, and aren't we great? But we're instead saying, look, this is us proving that it's real alpaca wool, and this is why it's going to benefit you, because alpaca wool is better than normal wool. And that's how that can speak to the consumer and not just brag about yourself. Another thing that alpaca wool does is it absorbs moisture. And so when you're, wearing your socks and your feet sweat, normal socks would kind of get stinky in that scenario. Alpaca wool will soak that in and not get as stinky. So we want to promote that, but not just say our wool does this, but we instead want to say our wool does this so that you won't have stinky feet. So what we essentially could do is maybe show the sock absorbing moisture in some way, whether that's through a GIF or through some picture and maybe compare it to normal wool or something like that they're seeing like, oh wow, this thing can, this wool really soaks in moisture. And then in our copy, we're going to talk about the fact that because it soaks in moisture, that a lot of feet sweat, and it's just typical that feet sweat, but you don't have to worry anymore because it's going to soak all that moisture in, which means you can take your shoes off at parties and not have to have that worry anymore. And what we're doing is we're starting to put the seeds of making them feel like they need this product. Like they're starting to justify this purchase. So they already saw their life, what it's going to look like. We're starting to build the bridge of like, your product is the answer to this. And now we're throwing all these features in that make them go, well, man, I'd be dumb to pass this up. Look at all the other things it's currently doing. And what this is doing is it's allowing us to increase our price perception. Because when we just show, here's a sock and here's how much it is, they have to make a decision based off that one picture if they think your product is worth the money. But when we have all this time and we're getting them in the right mindset, that price increase starts to go up because they start to go, my gosh, look at all that it can do. Look at all the features it has. Look how great this is going to be. And look how much this is going to change my life. And now we're justified charging more for our products. All right, let's do the last feature. Let's show off that we have a lot of varieties of our socks. So what we can do is we have them all laid out. What that does is it helps invite them into the store because they're going to see all these options they can choose from. And then we're just going to say something along the lines of like, we have over 50 designs and colors and patterns so that you can match it with your perfect outfit. Again, did you hear the "so that" in there? I didn't just say we have over 50 designs, because again, that's just talking about you. But if you say so that you can create outfits and match and stand out and really express your personality, that's when they're like, oh yeah, I would like to do that. So once they go through that slider, once they see your tagline, keep in mind the slider's the benefit, the tagline is bridging it, the features make them get watery at the mouth. Oh man, I want this, I want this. That's when we then introduce the product. And so most Shopify or any theme, Squarespace or Wix or whatever, that's when you can input right there a product. The price is going to be introduced at that stage with an invitation of come check out into our store. So when they click, they're not just buying the product there, but they're able to come into your store and really go through everything at this stage. Now keep in mind, if someone is to go through all that we just described and then shop from there and go to your shop, oh mama, how much more powerful is that shopper? How much of a better mindset are they in when they go to your store at that stage than if they had just clicked shop right at the top, menu, shop, and now they're in your store. They're so much more prepared to buy, and that's why you can actually have a higher conversion rate on websites than you can on Etsy. So now here's a question. If they see your product, they see your price, but they don't click shop, they just keep scrolling, why are they scrolling? Why didn't they go to the shop? Well, there's two reasons. Number one is either they are loving the way you're presenting the story and they want to continue to be engaged in the story. But usually it's because, the second reason is because they're not sold yet. There's still something they're looking for, a question that needs to be answered. And so we're going to keep going and keep telling the story and help them solve that objection that they may have so that they can come back to the shop. But before I go into that bottom section of our website there, I do want to make that pitch one more time that if you're liking this content, you're following along with it, and you're like, wow, this is really great, you can either A, just give me a thumbs up, just hey Jared, thanks. Or you can go into my website, growmyetsyshop.com. You can check out my Beyond Etsy section, and there's a little mini course in there that you can get that's going to walk you through this whole thing. It's pretty much a built with you is what it's called. So you just follow along, and I build it out right next to you. All right, so if they keep scrolling beyond our shop, what we want to do is we want to do the next section. It's called sweetening the deal. We want to sweeten the deal a bit, which means that we want to put usually what you put in your Etsy descriptions when you're like, this product is made out of this, and we ship really fast, and we have high quality, and we do free returns or whatever. That's when you're going to put all that stuff kind of in that next section. I like to usually do it, and if you get the modules, you'll see it's like a 4-clip thing next to each other that you can see it really easily. And this is just sweetening the deal. This is usually just kind of like a, hey, by the way, when you do purchase, because we're now in the mindset of you're going to purchase. Like we've already showed you the product, we've walked you through this thing. So now instead of showing them what their life is going to look like, we're instead talking about what's going to happen when they receive their product, right? So look, it's really fast shipping, or you have a good guarantee, or free returns, or whatever it may be. That's when we start using those sweetening the deals to help take away some of that fear or that risk that they're going to be taking by buying something online. And now with our last section, we are going to promote reviews. So I want you to go through your Etsy reviews, and I want you to find reviews that specifically show someone who had some sort of buyer objection but was able to overcome it once they received the product. So man, I was really nervous about buying this, but I ended up kind of taking the plunge, and man, it was totally worth it. Yo, man, I've gotten so much use out of these socks. They're amazing. Those type of reviews help build trust with the buyer because they're feeling a certain way, and they're not sure if they're the only one feeling a certain way. So when they start to see other people have felt this way, they feel justified, they feel more connected, and then when they see that solution was there once they purchased, then they can bridge that gap in their mind and say, well, I can solve this fear when I buy, and that will solve that bridge that problem that I currently have. And then from there, we do a call to action back into the shop, and this is how you make great landing pages. Hopefully you've been able to visualize this as I've been going through it. You've been able to see it and understand, wait a second, I don't just take my Etsy shop, plug it over and hope to get the same results, but instead, hey, let me tell this story. And what this allows you to do is you can create a home base for your brand, which means that as people are coming into Etsy and buying stuff from you, you can use marketing materials or whatnot to promote them to buy again from you from your website. As you have an Instagram or go to trade shows or whatever, you can promote people to come to your website, and they have a higher chance of converting when you eliminate all the other noise of Etsy and take them through your story and how their story speaks directly to them. And it shifts their mindset. By the time they're in your shop, they are ready to purchase or ready to buy something that's going to change their life or affect their life instead of just having money in their pocket and wondering if they're going to spend it or not. If you have found value in this and you want more, give me some sort of something in the comments that you like more. This is actually my only second YouTube video, and I don't make them a whole lot, and because they're kind of hard to make. So if you like it, let me know. I really do appreciate it. If you want access to that course I'm talking about, you can go ahead and I think it's in the description, click there. It'll take you right to where that is. It's pretty cheap, so it might be worth your money if you are really on the edge of about getting a website. All right, until next time, thanks guys.